about yourself?
Blessed. Yep, good. Had a great time. It was just pure family.
When you have 8-year-olds, they come down, oh, here's all these presents that everybody bought them, and the plan was to have a big family breakfast and then go presents. And their mom felt bad about it, so she said, go open one present, bring it out. She told us which present, a new jacket, so not gonna affect breakfast. Well, they didn't interpret words as one person. It was got the kids going, and like, we were sitting there talking, having coffee after breakfast, and Eleanor come in and asked Grandma if she could have coffee in the living room.
Oh, sounds like you had a great time.
Oh, I did.
You had one of those, want to give him another minute? We're about, oh, whatever. There he is. I'm going to say we're about 2 minutes late, but we had one of those.
Huh?
We got up about 2 o'clock in the morning. We heard something. Courtney's downstairs all by herself. Going to have the breakfast. Sharon's mine. Come over to that Deja. Mr. Tucker.
Whoa! The party is getting rough.
That wasn't a bad choice. I'm ready. Yep, go ahead.
Recording in progress.
I didn't hear the voice. All right, welcome everyone. It's now about 6:33 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this Tuesday, the 6th day of January, 2026. I would ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the opening prayer. Trustee Gopal, will you lead us?
Yes, sir, thank you. Heavenly Father, bless us as we gather here tonight. Help us to nurture the bonds of our community. Guide us to make our decisions in the best interest of the township and its residents. We pray for an end to the conflicts in the world today. Continue to look over and bless our community and country. And we ask these things in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, thanks, Mark. Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Clark. Here. Krug is present. Kessler's absent. Gopal.
Here.
Tucker. Present. You have 6 members present.
Thanks, Bob. All right, I'd also like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, our Operations Manager Tom Broker, Zoning Administrator Mike Deem, our Assessor Julia Wilson, our Fire Chief Ryan Bolts, and Assistant Manager Megan Gito. Welcome, Megan. Megan started her new position with the Township, so being with it. Huh?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I was asking her where her baby was. Okay,
No, I
she
was
has
just
a
going to
new
say,
baby.
how long have you been with the Township? Almost 5 years. 5 years. And she just took on a new position as Assistant Manager. So, welcome, Megan. We also have our Township officials, our Township engineers, Alan and Melissa Lawrence from Lawrence Engineering. And yes, she is on. All right, Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes, to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on Public Access TV, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there are two public hearings, one for a street improvement special assessment for Hidden Ridge and one for a street lighting special assessment for West Winds Phase 2, during which public comment will be accepted. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the township's website at fentontownship.org.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to the first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Clark. Yes. I vote yes. Kessler is absent. Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And the agenda stands approved as presented. Next business order is meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the December 16th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on to expenditures, are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices?
I had a question on one where it is for constable containers, for shipping containers.
Fire department.
Is that a temporary
No,
thing?
it's a fire department, they buy, for training, they're buying shipping containers and they'll stack a couple on top of each other, and it's for simulated smoke. And so, and it's by far the cheapest containers we could buy.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the payment of expenditures totaling $884,770.41 for payment.
Make a motion to approve expenditures in the amount of $884,770.41 as presented.
Support?
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
I vote yes. Clark.
Yes.
Kessler is absent. Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Moving on to the next business order is public hearings. This is our first public hearing. This is Hidden Ridge Street Improvement Special Assessment District, hearing on the special assessment roll. This is a public hearing on the special assessment roll for the Hidden Ridge Street Improvement Special Assessment District, and Tom, you're gonna be reviewing.
Yes, so at the December 2nd meeting, the board created the special assessment district and then adopted a second resolution to schedule this hearing on the roll. Since that time, the condominium association has advised that the escrow account that they had the money they had to put toward the project was more than they had originally thought. So instead of $80,000, they're gonna put, they'll be putting $111,000 toward the project, which will reduce the assessment. So the roll has been revised accordingly, and the per parcel assessment is now $4,825.32, if approved, and that would be over a 10-year period with interest.
All right, Tom. All right, the board will now accept public comment on the following: the individual assessment in relation to the benefit received, the total cost of the project, and the validity of the proceedings to date. Tom, is there any written comments?
None.
All right. Is there anyone here that's attending tonight that would like to address the board? And again, this is just on the Hidden Ridge Street Improvement Special Assessment District. Anybody attending? All right, we'll move on to Zoom. Is there anybody attending via Zoom that would like to address the board this evening?
No.
If so, just maybe unmute, wave a hand. All right, hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board? No. All right, okay, resolution number 2026-01. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes. Confirm special assessment roll number 2026-01 as the assessment roll for the Hidden Ridge Street Improvement Special Assessment District. Divides the assessment into 10 annual installments with the first installment due December 1st, 2026. Sets the interest rate at 1% above the average instant rate on the bond sold to finance the project. Provides an early payoff option and assesses a 1% per month penalty on late installments. Directs the clerk to deliver the special assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer. Directs the treasurer to collect the special assessment repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes. Clark,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Second public hearing is West Winds Street, West Winds 2 Street Special Assessment District, hearing on special assessment roll. Again, Tom, will you review?
Yes, so this is one where the developer still owns all the property, so the petition process was quite, excuse me, quite simple. So the board, at the last meeting, created a special assessment district and then scheduled a hearing here. The estimated cost of the project is $5,750 to install 25 street lights, and then $3,500 per year for operation and maintenance, plus administrative costs. The owner-developer has already paid the township the $5,750 up front that we can then pay consumers so the lights can be installed right away. So the assessment roll includes a per parcel assessment of $99.09 for 2026, which will cover a portion or whatever part of 26 the lights are up, plus 27, plus administrative costs. And then the estimated $42.69 per year per parcel, starting with the 27 assessment. The township reviews and adjusts all street lighting assessment amounts every year as needed.
All right, thanks, Tom. Okay, the board will now accept public comment on the following: an assessment, individual's assessment in relation to the benefit received, the total cost of the project, and the validity of the proceedings to date. Tom, written comments?
None.
Okay. All right, I'll now open it up for public comment. Is there anyone in attendance that would like to address the board on the West Wind 2 Street Light Special Assessment? Hearing none, I'll move to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom? Going once? All right, hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, resolution number 2026-02. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Conferred special assessment roll number 2026-02 as revised as the assessment roll for West Wind 2 Street Lighting Special Assessment District, establishes an annual installments in the roll, each due and payable December 1st, assigns a 1% per month penalty for late payments, directs the clerk to deliver the special assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer, directs the treasurer to collect the special assessment, repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Clark,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to the next business orders reports. We have our fire chief, Ryan Boltz, here to give us the fourth quarter report and our annual report. We'd like to see a nice, bright red fire truck up there on that.
Yeah, we took
There we
delivery
go.
of it on Wednesday, New Year's Eve. So, Sal's down at Station 2, fills the bay right up.
Gonna be up here when for display?
I'm hoping for the next, what is it, the board at the 20th?
20th.
So depending on the weather.
Yeah, we don't want to
Well, it
get
took
dirty.
3 hours to wash it.
Yeah, it takes
That's
a
why.
while.
Did you put a little wax on that?
Yeah, yeah. Per Mr. Tucker's request, we have the sheet back that has all of the information for the calls, the 100 series, 200 series. So we'll move forward for the fourth quarter report of 25. In Fenton Township, we had 6 fires, 41 medicals, 13 hazardous incidents, 26 service calls, and 55 good intent calls, along with 21 false alarms. Our false alarms are dropping with the help of dispatch, re-tiering a lot of our calls, so that's helping us out to lower the false alarm calls. Total 162 alarms for the fourth quarter in Fenton Township. Of those, 162, we had Tyrone Township with 2 fires, 8 medical incidents. Where do we go here? 1 hazardous incident, 1 service call, 6 good intents, and 1 false alarm for 19 total of the 162. And that is for the fourth quarter of 2025. We have our year-end report, which we wound up with 722 total alarms. We had a glitch in our reporting system. There was 3 null reports in there. So we've got the techs working on that to figure out what the problem is. So we had 44 fire incidents, 209 medicals, 43 hazardous incidents, 100 service calls, 263 good intent calls, and 60 false alarms for a total of 7. It says 719, but it's with the other 3, it's 722. Of those, 65 of them were in Tyrone Township. There were 5 fires, 21 medical incidents, 2 hazardous incidents, 11 service calls, 24 good intent calls, and 2 false alarms. And I shared one more sheet with you guys on our mutual aid. Pretty much our tallies per district. Our district is split, we split it north of Ralston Road and south of Ralston Road for Station 1, Station 2 area. So Station 1 area ran 375 alarms, Station 2's area ran 256 alarms. Our mutual aid calls to Fenton, Linden, Mundy were 23 in Grand Blanc Township, and our contracted area was 65. And there's that null of 3 in there as well, for a total of 722.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments from the board for the chief?
What's a hazardous incident?
I have my sheet right here.
Good, thank you.
So hazardous conditions are like gasoline flammability, flammable spill, gas leak, carbon monoxide incident, power lines down, which we run a lot of, and arcing wires.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments? I have one. Chief, why don't you explain the reason we bought the new engine?
The ladder, well, in the past, again, we have municipal water now. Without municipal water, a truck like that doesn't work for you because you can't feed it or supply the water to it. So it really helps out our commercial area and our bigger homes and the schools that are all tied into the whole loop. So, and when they do your ISO rating, which is your insurance services rating, having a ladder truck is a lot of points. And we didn't just buy it just for that. We bought it just for the safety of our firefighters and multiple things for our operations, everything with the department. But it's going to benefit, having that's going to benefit the community just in their insurance ratings. And our goal is to hopefully within the next 6 months to try and slice everybody's insurance by about 40%. And a lot of people in here, I know a lot of people pay for their insurances on the lake and stuff. It's a big number.
The reason why I ask is just listening to conversations I've overheard you talk about, just like the ladder, you know, when we have a lot of riparians in this township, and as you know, the houses keep getting closer and closer together, and you can actually use that now, park in the front and take the ladder with the hose out, from what I understand, to the back of the house,
We
correct?
can drop it right in between the houses and run it, tip the nozzle back and face it the opposite way and spray it. Trustee Gopal went with me down when we spec'd it and when we brought it home, and actually he drove it to Fire Station 2.
That was the second part of my story. I just wanted to let the residents know.
So it was well, I think it was well worth his time spent. I mean, I'll let him talk on that, but it was, as the chair of our Public Safety Committee, I think it was a big eye-opener to see the things that we have to go through and what we do when we purchase. I mean, to replace this truck now is $2 million. We bought it for 1.165.
That's amazing.
So,
Well, I just remember you and I getting the invitation, and I said, well, Mark should be the one to go. And just to assure the residents, Mark's first question, I think, to the chief was, no, I'm not gonna spend the money, taxpayers' money to go down there, not realizing when you buy one, they send you down there anyway. But he took it very seriously, and I just wanted to tell the residents that. you know, what was it, like 70 things that you guys both found wrong? Or whatever it was?
Well, the line item was 600.
Yeah,
There were 600 items we went through on the day that we went down there. And, gig was 23?
Yep.
Yeah, 23 things we found wrong. And most of them were cosmetic paint. There's a few other things. I also want to mention, the Miller Building
yes.
and Vincinia Gardens, which is ours in Fenton, you know, just west of Walmart in Fenton. But that is Fenton Township, and that's a 3-story building. So, I mean, for any attack, it's suppressed internally, but, I mean, that's why we're moving to this phase of this, the need for this thing. It's just, you know, before we never needed it because the biggest buildings we had were
Two
two-story
stories.
houses on the lake.
No taller than 29 foot
Yeah.
6 or whatever the number was.
And I think you said, Chief, we can go up to like 8 stories now, so that new hotel.
Well, it's a
that's gonna be
107
6.
foot ladder, so whatever the responsibility the township wants to take to say, okay, we'll allow this height.
Okay,
So, there's a lot of prepping and preparing that goes in with buildings like that, so. But this is an extra, tool for us to use to keep our firefighters safer, and the thing's got a 2,000 gallon a minute pump on it, so it'll throw some water.
that's a great report. Any other questions?
And
Thanks,
again,
Chief.
I was glad that Mark went with me, it was a good trip for him, and I think he learned a lot, so. Learned how to stage a ladder and set it up, and he's the second one certified in our township.
We're always looking for volunteers.
Absolutely.
I'm not running it. It's a joke. You're safe.
All right. Are there any other committee reports to be made to the board this evening? All right, hearing none. Communications, we have none tonight, or this evening. Moving on to adoption of ordinances. This is the proposed zoning ordinance amendment, keeping of chicken and ducks. This is the second reading and the vote on the adoption. This original ordinance, or this ordinance was originally introduced at the November 18th meeting, then postponed twice to allow time for revisions. Included in the packet is a marked-up version of the proposed ordinance with changes made since the original draft, and a final or clean version of the ordinance with the revisions incorporated. So I'm sure everybody's went through it, and I want to thank our treasurer and attorney, Mr. Tucker, for going through it. I spent quite a bit of time on it, and as usual, you did great work, and it's well-written, in my opinion. So,
Props to your work on it, too.
oh, he did a lot of work,
Yeah, I know I did.
a lot of work. All right,
So,
Mike, go ahead.
Real quick, so the updates from the original version that was presented to the board. There's some zoning districts that were removed, right? So the agricultural zoning district was removed. It's kind of counterintuitive, but the reason why that was removed is that chickens are currently allowed in that zoning district, and this would actually be more restrictive than what's currently allowed. We removed the R5 and multifamily zoning districts, figuring that those were the smallest lots in the township and weren't necessarily appropriate for the keeping of chickens. The meat of the ordinance itself, right, limits the number of chickens or ducks to a total of 5. The selling of eggs is prohibited. Roosters are prohibited. Slaughtering outdoors is prohibited, so it has to be indoors. There's standards for the coops and the enclosures and where they can be located, providing additional setbacks greater than we would find for an accessory building. Height restrictions still have to meet the same as accessory buildings. A zoning permit is required, and then there is language in here talking about the Right to Farm Act and essentially saying that if you were issued a zoning permit under this, the Right to Farm Act would not apply. Also included is the process for revoking a zoning permit, right? And that would require a planning commission review. So we kind of strengthened some of the language in here. The core of it is remaining the same, and I'm here to answer any questions you guys might have.
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments, concerns?
I have a comment. I've been torn, one way or the other, and I've kind of been going back and forth, in reference to this ordinance. And I took the opportunity to call a couple of townships if they had an ordinance with the chickens and selling of eggs, and they had nothing of any nature. And I've lived in the community for 35 years, and I don't think I've seen anyone selling any eggs. I've never heard anybody having chicken problems. And when I did see someone selling eggs, it was further north, and there were kids trying to make a little money, right, putting up a lemonade stand. And I think, and it helps them raise chickens and, learn the animal, and it's just like having a little business. And I think that, I don't see it being a big problem. I don't foresee it becoming a problem. And the city of Fenton, they don't have this ordinance. I don't know of anybody in the city of Fenton having problems with chickens. I've been through the city of Fenton, I haven't seen anybody selling eggs, in the farmer's market. And, I'm just having, it's a tough spot for me, just,
So your main objection is the prohibition of selling eggs, or just the ordinance in general?
well, I mean, I think just the ordinance in general, I don't think it's a big issue. I really don't think these chickens, I've never ran across, going down the road, chickens come running out, I've never heard anybody complaining about chickens. And like I said, I've been here for 35 years, and, what's gonna be next? We can't sell vegetables, out front? Is that next? I just don't, I just don't see this chicken issue, the chicken ordinance being a big problem.
So currently, right, we don't allow the heating of chickens, except in agricultural zoning district, right? So this actually allows more people to have chickens than would otherwise be allowed. We have people that constantly ask, right, can we have chickens? And the answer's always been no, right? We had one couple that wanted to put together a petition, but when they found out the number of signatures that they had to get was equal to like 10% of the last governor election, which would have been a lot, they figured the effort wasn't worth it, but they asked that the township consider it. When we went through the master plan, that was some comments that we received. So that's kind of what's driving the idea of loosening the regulations to allow a limited amount of chickens. Because right now, if we are aware of them, if we have a complaint about them, we tell them they can't have chickens. And we've had issues in that sense, in the past. Is it a big issue? No, but we do have residents asking for the opportunity to have chickens where they currently don't.
How many residents have inquired about having chickens?
It's probably a couple calls a month, people asking if we can have chickens, right? It's not hundreds of people, but it's probably more than calls to ask about short-term rentals, which, if we're weighing
That's a whole
things,
different-
right? But we don't just, there's been constant enough, request that it was, a big enough item to bring in front of the planning commission. It was something that was brought up during the master plan, right? So we don't bring everything, up for ordinance amendments, right? There's usually, if we start getting the same questions over and over again, then we bring it up for discussion and see where it goes. So planning commission, did their research, and they felt that, limiting it to 5, right? It's kind of the compromise, right? It allows the people that really want them to do it, but at the same time, it addresses the concerns you have with it potentially being a nuisance by limiting it, the number that you're allowed.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because I've never, with my background, Sergeant can actually probably back me up on this, it's never been the 4-H kids that are the problem. And I'm a huge individual rights, I think everybody knows that, but I am gonna tell you, Bill, that the reason I'm for this is because it was never legal to start with, okay? And it's kind of one of those things that it's just been around so long that anybody that you see with chickens, most of the people that I know have had them in ag areas, or 5-acre R3s, but it's the reason I went with it is because it actually gives more individual rights to the people than there are now. I'm always going to be for loosening restrictions versus putting more on them. And even though it's never been, enforced, it has been against the law. And this is just making honestly, I've been here almost 60 years now, and the people that were gonna do it, I don't think a lot of people are gonna be affected by the restrictions on this because that aren't already in ag. Because the people that were going to do it against the law were gonna do it anyway. And I just don't see a bunch of those out there. You know, I don't see chickens running around all over. But I genuinely believe this is lessening restrictions on the people that will allow this for more people to partake in it than ag.
So let me ask you this, let's just say you have a couple kids, 10-year-olds, and they have chicken, they wanna raise the eggs, and they just wanna have it for the weekend to sell eggs, okay, just to make a little money.
We're not
Are we gonna
police state.
enforce that? What's that?
Well,
To where you're gonna,
before the
give 'em a
lawyer
ticket?
gets in and does lawyer stuff, I'm gonna tell you, people do there's a lot of garage sales in the summer without permits. Okay, you picking up on them laying down.
Yeah.
So if you got a surplus of eggs and maybe put it up, I'm not gonna go griping on my neighbors. I do have a question though. Is the limit, can that be a variance granted for the amount? What I'm saying is, if you got a family of 8 kids, which it's not a lot, but I know people that do, or 6 kids, and each want to have their own chicken, is that gonna be an issue? I'm not saying legally, because honestly, I just do it anyway, but if, well, I would, I mean, I'm not gonna, I'll never lie to you people, ever. But, I mean, if 5 is the number that's kinda picking on people, could that act eventually or be adjusted? I know we can, as a board, make it 6, but
Conceptually, realistically, I don't, we have our findings of fact for variances, right? And I don't know an argument that can be made that would justify a 6th chicken. But that doesn't mean there isn't one. I suppose the answer is potentially, realistically, probably not.
okay.
But I think the important thing that that you talked about was, we're not a police state, Bill, and I think that's what you have to understand. If I see 2 kids, I'm driving down the road, and I'm the supervisor, and I see 2 kids selling eggs, what do you think I'm gonna do? Call the sergeant. I'm gonna stop and probably give him $2 for the eggs. I mean, and I'm on record now, so, I mean, people, we're complaint-based, and that's the way people should live. If your neighbors don't mind you having an extra chicken, I don't think, Jack's probably mad at me, but.
All right, I'm the egg Grinch, all right? Okay, you can all blame me for being
Yeah,
the
we
egg
know that.
Grinch. But it will never be our policy at the township that the sale of eggs is allowed in the
Right.
township. And it's not because
Understood.
kids or making money or learning things, it's because of the
Right to Farm Act.
Okay, it cannot be a little business, like you said. That will not ever be our policy, okay? Because if it is, right to Farm kicks in, and then we go from 5 to 1,000, and we have nothing that we can do about it. So my willingness to go along with this is based
I'm
on.
with you too, we'll say it's 5,
Yep.
and you can't sell, forget it.
Yeah, and I get it, it sounds stupid to most lay people, but I'm gonna be the egg Grinch, I'm gonna continue to be the egg Grinch, and I know the reasons why I'm the egg Grinch, so, yeah, no eggs, Bill.
And, we had an expert come in and give some education to the Planning Commission on the Right to Farm Act. And one of their recommendations was to pass an ordinance such as this, to encourage someone to follow the ordinance and not go towards the Right to Farm Act, because then we lose control and potential for a chicken unit, right? An equivalent animal unit is like 500 chickens to 1 unit, right? And you can have like 50 units, within a really small area, right? So
Theoretically, you could.
theoretically,
But, I mean, do I see
Realistically, probably not,
somebody
but-
getting away with selling eggs, and all of a sudden you got a 8-foot Idaho egg farm next to your house? No. It hasn't been an issue yet, so I just think, and John's right, this is actually protecting the township, but it's actually giving the people more rights than we have now.
so I would agree it hasn't been an issue, but So what also spurred this on is that we do have a situation where a resident on Thompson Road, right, meets the distance requirements for the Right to Farm Act, and his neighbor's complaining about the chickens. But because there's X amount of houses within a radius that keeps on getting smaller and smaller by the state, he is allowed to have those chickens. Had we had this ordinance in place, he probably would have stuck at 5, and we wouldn't have had the arguments between the neighbors that are arising out of that.
There's no grandfather.
Not with this ordinance.
Yeah, it's never been legal, that's,
Yeah.
you're correct.
And that's why he went through the Right to Farm Act, and, it
No,
used.
trust me, if I thought there was anything sketchy about this at all,
Yeah.
you know about, but like I said, everything that every concern I've ever had has been addressed by this.
It used to be a quarter-mile radius, like 14 homes within a quarter mile. Now it's within an eighth of a mile, which is like 625 feet, right? And so, so there's a lot more areas in the township that may be affected. So the idea is to encourage, follow the ordinance and go that direction.
And I have, since this process started about 6 weeks ago, plus you had it earlier in the planning commission, I have had people come up to me that don't have chickens just because they just didn't want to, be in violation of an ordinance that we have here in the township. I think this is going to open it up, and you're going to see more chickens, and you're going to see people that thought, I didn't really want to break the law, but now they can. So I think it's going to open it up for people to be able to, a lot more people, I think, are going to use it. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Thanks again, Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike, I really appreciate it. Okay, I'll entertain a motion regarding the adoption of the proposed amendment to zoning ordinance number 594 to add provisions pertaining to keeping of chickens and ducks on residential properties as presented.
Motion for approval?
I'll second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Kessler is absent. I vote yes. Motion passes.
We now have chickens and ducks. All right, moving on to unfinished business. This evening we have none. Moving on to new business, we have resolution number 2026-03. This is a proposed 2026 property tax hardship exemption policy. Each year, the township adopts a revised property tax hardship policy for the Board of Review to use in reviewing the hardship poverty exemption applications. The proposed 2026 policy is nearly identical to the 2025 policy, except for updated income limits and dates. We have our assessor, Julia Wilson, here. She's here to answer any questions. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Have the thresholds changed from the prior year to this year?
Yes, they change every year based on the tax.
Thank you.
Is that tied to the rate of inflation?
Kind of, what we use is the county has their income limits they use for community development block grant funds.
Block grant.
And we use, I think it's the very low column out of theirs, but since we don't have the 26 numbers, we take the 25 numbers and add the inflation rate to it and round up, basically.
Okay.
That's been the way we've done it every year for as long as I can remember.
Any other questions for Julia or Tom?
I had spoken to Julia yesterday, and I think she said there was, what, 1 or 2 people on the program last year for the exemption?
Last year we had 5,
5, was it 5? Okay.
and we have a couple left this year.
Oh.
Most of the people we have are all elderly and on the fifth.
Thanks, Julia. Any other questions for Tom or Julia? All right, hearing none. Resolution number 2026-03, Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes. Adopts the Fenton Township financial hardship exemption official policy 2026 as guidelines for the assessor and the Board of Review to follow in granting or denying property tax hardship exemptions. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, next under new business is resolution number 2026-04, street lighting for West Winds Phase 2. Operations Manager Brook, will you please review?
Yes, so, with the confirmation of the special assessment role for West Winds 2, now we need to approve the contract change with consumers to add those lights to the township's contract. So, in the packet is the authorization for change form. There's also a diagram of the lights, and then a resolution that authorizes the clerk or supervisor to execute the form on behalf of the township.
All right, thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, resolution number 2026-04. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, it deems it advisable to authorize Consumers Energy to make changes in the street lighting contract to add lights for West Wind 2 Special Assessment District, authorizes the supervisor or clerk to execute the required authorization for change of document. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
I vote yes, resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business, this is the proposed 2026 summer property tax collection agreements. That's with Fenton, Linden, and Genesee Intermediate School Districts. I'm sure we've reviewed the memo in our packets. Treasurer Tucker, do you have any additional comments at all?
I've been doing this long enough with Tom that I don't even have to ask him the question anymore that I always ask when these come up. Are we covering our costs, or do we need to raise it? So now when he asks me, he gives me the breakdown, and he has assured me that the current numbers cover our costs more than adequately. So I don't feel a need to go in and increase them just for the sake of increasing them. And if I was doing it beyond covering our costs, I'd be in trouble anyway, so I'm good with it. And I didn't have to ask the question.
All right, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, this is going to be in three separate motions. I'll entertain a motion regarding the proposed 2026 summer tax collection agreement with Fenton Area Schools as presented.
I'll support a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
All right. Okay, second, I will entertain a motion regarding the proposed 2026 summer tax collection agreement with Linden Community Schools as presented.
I will support a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes, motion passes.
All right. Third, I will entertain a motion regarding the proposed 2026 summer tax collection agreement with Genesee Intermediate School District as presented.
I will support a motion to approve.
Second.
The motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Clark,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, next under new business is, this is to schedule a public hearing for the 2026 local road improvements. This is just keeping with past practice of the board. I'd like to schedule a local road improvement public hearing for our January 20th meeting. This hearing will give the board an opportunity to obtain citizen input regarding the potential local road improvement projects prior to making any final decisions. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to schedule a public hearing for our January 20th, 2026 meeting to obtain citizen input regarding potential local road improvement projects for 2026.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Clark,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. Next is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments they would like to discuss at tonight's meeting?
all these good people are doing here tonight. It's awesome to have
No, I didn't-
faces in the audience that are not on staff. I kept waiting to see which
Henry.
agenda item, I kept guessing, and I was continually wrong. So, thank you for coming out on a crappy January night.
They're here to support the board.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good.
Well, I felt bad when I got the message from Tom that the appointment to the county as a representative was taken off. Because I would guess right now that
Who is gonna be on?
Mr. Kessler was going to win 5.
I have to make a phone call on that, but yeah, you're right, he would have, and I known that, but he's already an alternate.
I know.
Alternate, so, and he's not gonna weasel out of that. All right, moving on to the next business order is public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? If so, yes, sir, you wanna come on up? All I need you to do is state your name.
Jim Rudd, 12558 Cuswago Beach. I just had some concerns about the duck and chicken egg ordinance that just got passed. As you know, I've been active with Lake Fenton property owners for some time, and we already have an ordinance that doesn't allow fertilizing within, I believe it's 50 foot, but I could be wrong on that
30, I think.
number. But I can see, and hopefully it's not gonna happen, but I can see where chickens could be that close to the lake in some areas.
Well, the
And-
geese sure are.
Yeah, yeah, and I just, like I say, I apologize for being a little late on this topic, but I just did a little Googling and found out in Vermont, the Department of Health and Agriculture, they recommend not allowing like ducks and geese egg laying, that they intermingle with the wildlife because they can carry E. coli, both of them, and transmit it. And, you know, they recommend that, you know, people that are around chickens have shoes that they only wear when they're in the chicken area and they don't track anything in the house or around the yard. So, and there's the bird influenza, there's Salmonella, Campylobacter, E. coli, all that stuff in domestic birds can get and transmit it to, you know, wildlife. So I'm a little concerned that we didn't address that with this ordinance. I'm not sure it's addressed. It seems unlikely to me that we're gonna have a lot of people on the lake having egg birds down by the lake, but you know, whenever you say something, that's never gonna happen, that's when it happens. So, yeah, I'm concerned about that, and especially the E. coli, as you all know, that we've been doing the nest destruction by, with both the Canadian geese and the mute swans through the Michigan DNR and the Federal Ag Department. And we started that because we were getting E. coli on our beach. And since we've started it, and it's just meant to manage the number of birds, not eliminate them. And since we've been doing that, we haven't had any E. coli show up at the beach here. So it's something that is a potential problem, and if there's anything we could do to maybe lessen the likelihood, the probability that could happen with this egg program, I'd say it's a good idea.
Did you read the ordinance?
Yeah.
All the way through?
Yeah.
Because I think I think the planning commission did a good job, and the review that we did, because they are required to be in a cage, not out running around free, things like that, they still have to fit height requirements, so, you know, having them close to the lake, I don't ever think that would ever happen, but again, it can. But I think if you read all the way through, like you said you have, the ordinance really would make it very difficult for wildlife to intermingle with, you know, a caged chicken or duck. So, you know, I'm not saying it can't happen and they don't get out of their cage, but I think that it was a well thought out ordinance.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, Jim, is that there's some provisions that you've read already, but if there are building and use restrictions that prohibit it, you're not gonna be able to get a permit from us to do it. And if you look along the lakefront,
agree, it's a low probability, but.
Yeah, and I'm a little different than Vince. I'm kind of thinking that by the middle of summer, I'm gonna look around and say, nothing happened. You know, and nothing will be an overstatement, but I don't think it's gonna be noticeable. You know, it's contained in terms of the number in the ordinance. Even if it was widespread, I don't think it would be a big problem. But I will be shocked if I notice a significant number, because I have seen chickens, you know, Jennings Road, there's several people that have them along there. Maybe that's ag, I don't know. That's ag. Is that ag?
That's ag.
I don't know.
Even if they're in a pen with a good rain, it can get out of the pen.
Oh, yeah,
A lot of times they don't have rusted
yeah.
wires.
Jim, you had indicated you detected E. coli in the water.
And Lake Fenton.
Yeah. Do you think
On
that,
this beach.
yeah, do you ever think that it's possibly from the people that
That's
congregate? And, you know, they have, you know, they urinate in water and feces and,
That's certainly a possibility, but the fact that we've been doing this nest management, which does manage the number of birds and waterfowl that are on the lake, indicates to me that what we're doing is the right direction. If it was a problem, since we've been doing this program, these two programs, we haven't had any recordings of E. coli on our beach, so.
or maybe come down on the south end of the lake, during 4th of July weekend and check it then, see what you come up with. It's bad.
We could do a special check.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Thanks for addressing the board. Is there anyone else that is present with us tonight? Fenton's prominent attorney. I'll let him introduce himself. Good evening, Casey.
Good evening, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Casey Barron, 16447 Cottage Court. And I was thinking about that the other day because this is the place that my wife and I decided to settle down, but I've lived here in Fenton Township. I just realized, I was thinking about how long we've been here, over 22 years. Lived here longer than anywhere else in my life. And my wife and I decided to settle here, and I've got my daughter here tonight, and have our children and raise our family because we love this community, we love the area, and we love the people that we're here with. And I've worked with many of you on this board in different capacities. Vince and Christine, we worked on the ZBA. Bob, we did debate. I was on Southern Lakes Park and Rec for many years.
Yep.
And all those are opportunities that this organization, not necessarily all of you at the same time, but have given me over the years, which has helped develop me in other ways than just being an attorney. I've been an attorney for 25 years, but that's just part of what I've done and who I am, because I think so much more of what is important is what you do in the community and the service that you give back. And I want to continue that by being a judge. And Judge McCabe, as many of you know, is retiring from 67-4 here in Fenton. And he will vacate that office at the end of this year. And our primary is coming up here in August. And I'd appreciate your support. And I know that I already have from many of you. And for those in the audience, I did bring a petition, and if you stick around and sign, I would very much appreciate it. And I really appreciate all of your support over the years. Thank you very much, and we're going to go forward and do the best we can this time around. As you know, I ran a couple years ago for the Grand Blanc spot, but in anticipation that if I didn't win that, I was going to definitely run again, and here I am. I'm resolved to do this, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, and you're a West Point grad?
Yes.
Just want to thank you for your service, and I know you've lived here a long time.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Hearing none, I will go to, no, I will not. There is nobody on Zoom. They have left us all. So it is now about 7:25. I'd like to say before I say goodnight and we're adjourned that Happy New Year to everyone. And again, thank you for coming. I did lie. It didn't last 4 hours, but. All right. It is now 7:25 p.m. If there's nothing else, I say goodnight and the meeting's adjourned.